Thoughts from Thunderhands. Greetings, everybody. Welcome to my second semi-live show here. I wanted to talk today about consciousness, and in particular, the mass consciousness shift that we see happening right now and that we are in right now. If we look around the world, we can see that people are, quote unquote, waking up. Now, it might not be to a degree of enlightenment, but it is to a degree of realization of sorts. And so as we look around with the recent developments of people on all continents and countries coming to terms with the fact that they don't like the agenda as far as the war machine and what the governments are doing, is pretty telling. Now, the elite, or whoever you consider to be in control in this duality, and remember, this is all within a duality and illusion, which includes the yin and yang of change. Remember, change is constant. Now, again, these people that the elite are losing control over their agenda. They're losing control because when people awaken that are being oppressed, control is lost by those who are oppressing them. And so in order for them to, how should I say this, stop the people from waking up, or to have some kind of damage control over this, the first thing they think of is, well, we have to apply, harsher measures. So what we're going through right now is something that has been foretold by many, many prophets, many cultures, and it seems to be quickening right now, or coming to a head, and it's going to affect everything, the planet, the cosmos, the stars. Everything is changing right now, because when consciousness change is put in or brought in, then everything that's perceived around that universal consciousness or collective consciousness is changed. And so it's kind of a two-way thing. Consciousness changes, and what manifests on the outside changes, as above, so below. But sometimes consciousness changing is brought about by a collective consciousness of what we might call yin energy or dark energy. So a shift is inevitably going to take place from yin to yang, and we're in yin right now, which is dark, but we're flipping. Now this is going to be like birth pangs. It's going to be painful, but on the other side, it's going to be ecstasy once that change is made. Because if you realize what could be done with what we have as spiritual persons, and I want to address for a minute that saying about we are spiritual beings living in a physical body or physical reality. that really should be changed, because we are spiritual beings living in a spiritual reality is what we should be as humans, okay? So it's a matter, it's a slight twist of a change of perception here as to, that's become cliche. Oh, we're spiritual beings living in a physical body or physical existence. Well, we are in a way, but now that the change is taking place, we are spiritual beings that should be living in a spiritual state of mind. And actually, it will even affect our bodies. Who is to say what can be accomplished by this mass shift in consciousness? A mass shift it's happening right now. And so you can just about be ready for anything to happen. Now, Paramahansa Yogananda, a great yogi, and somebody that I took great pains to study and to honor, talked about this. Some people are like expecting a second coming of Christ. What his concept is that second coming of Christ would be a Christ consciousness or a Buddha consciousness, and that would come from within, not from some character out there on a cloud or a spirit on a cloud coming down with legions of armed forces or spiritually armed forces. So this consciousness, you can call it Christ consciousness, you can call it a shift, you can call it whatever you want to call it. Some people say the Kali Yuga or whatever. But whatever it is, it's happening. And sometimes, when this stuff happens, people get a little irritated. And I even know myself that my warrior side tends to come out because we live in the duality. And so we want this to, we feel it coming and we feel the transition happening. But if we're warriors, spiritual or otherwise, then we have this feeling that like we want this to get on with it. We want the birthing process over. And as somebody who has witnessed many times the birthing process, it's painful. And all the woman wants to do is get it over with. And then after it's over with, there's joy and there's a release and there's just this beautiful feeling of new life. New life. And that's what we're going to have on this planet at some point. And when this new life comes in, then all things will change and all things will be for the benefit of mankind. Right now it's for the detriment of mankind, because the people that are fighting this change, that are unenlightened, that are darkened, have dark souls that yet to have the light shined on them, are trying to stop this. It's not going to be stopped, folks, one way or another. I mean, I'd have no timetable on this, but you can sure see signs right now. And it's good that, it would be good that if you prepared for this on some kind of level, purification, breathing, yoga, detaching from the mainstream media, detaching from the ideas and belief systems that have been propagated up to this point on you. You have to realize that you're a free being, a free spirit. You are spiritual. You are part of the Godhead. You are God. Let me be so audacious as to say, okay, that if you haven't realized it by now, you are what you sometimes uh, view as something up sitting on a cloud somewhere. No, it's within you, just like Christ said, Yeshua, Jesus, and Buddha and others. It's within you, and the sooner you realize that, and the sooner you allow this Christ consciousness to permeate your soul and take you over, then the more control you're going to have on the entire system on the outside. So in a sense, it does really no good to be like belly aching and stirring up controversy and doing all the stuff that some of these people out there in the media or alternative media are doing, striking fear in people's hearts. You just have to realize what's going on, okay, and prepare for it. One other thing I want to touch on real quick is that up to this point, technology and the advancements that have been made in technology have been used for purposes that are not helpful to us, but they could have been used for purposes that are helpful to mankind, for purposes of teaching mankind, of educating mankind, of helping mankind raise his consciousness, so that this all could have happened sooner. Now, if we use that technology in that way, then every problem on this earth, if there was a 180 right now, and all this technology was turned around and intelligence and everything turned around towards a spiritual goal or agenda, I mean, stuff could change like that. Okay? All diseases would be cured. Mankind would have come into self-realization of himself being with the oneness of the universe, the creative power, the creator of all living things. Things would come into harmony. They would lock in. So this is what you need to do right now, is practice on being aware, waking up, help the process along here, okay? You have a choice. Help it along. Don't fight it. Go with the flow. The quicker you do that, the quicker things are going to change on the outside here. And we have to realize that all this stuff that's going down, the war, the rhetoric, the negative energy, it's part of the birthing process. And we can't give power, in a way, we can't give power to anything that's going on right now. We have to ignore everything that we've been taught in the way of belief systems. And that goes with who we have to answer to, or we're free spirits. We don't have to answer to anybody except the higher spirit. And the higher spirit is actually ourselves. So who are we answering to? Ourselves. So do we want to make it okay that things change right now? Can we bring this change about quicker? Well, yes, we can. So get into some spiritual practices and get into that frame of mind, like right now. Use mental imagery. Do whatever you have to do. Think about it. Think about what I said today. The mass consciousness shift is here. It's going to be like birth pangs. It's up to you as to how long it may last. I want to talk about my website now, and right down here in the links on YouTube is spiritofcrazyhorse.com. I want you to click on there and check that out, if you will. And this show cannot go on without your donations. There is a donation button there. And also my books, Listen to the Wind, Speak from the Heart by Divine Arts, and Emergence, are books that you should probably look into if you want to learn more about this kind of stuff and how to deal with the oncoming tide of negative energy that's coming up, because some will survive and some won't. They will just go to that other dimension.